Hello, boys and girls. This is our first edition of Storytime with Mr. Mister. And do I look like a wizard? It's that time of year, the Halloween season. And we are going to read two books today. And they're both about being afraid, but being very brave. Now, when it comes to being scared, there are some questions. And so today we're going to talk a little bit about being afraid. So, what scares you? Does going to the doctor scare you? Does something maybe under your bed scare you when the lights are out? There's lots of things that could be really scary. Even I get scary, and I'm Mr. Mister. So why do these things scare us? What causes us to be afraid? Is it because we don't know? Is it because we think something might happen? So we have to think about why we think these things will happen. Mostly, it's our imagination. But sometimes things can be scary, but then we have people who help us. So who helps you when you're afraid? Is it mom and dad? Is it your big brother or sister? Is it a grandpa or a grandma? Mrs. Mister, my wife, helps me when I'm really afraid. Okay, and how do they help you? Do they put their arm around you and give you a warm squeeze and a hug? That usually works for me. I also have little grandchildren, and I know when they're afraid, they like getting a big hug from Mr. Mister, or as they call me, G-Paw, or Grandpa. And sometimes being brave is just about being persistent. Really keeping it going, working through it. Sometimes we get really afraid on things because we're not sure we can do those things. So we get really afraid, but sometimes it's just about trying and trying and trying. And we're going to learn about that today. So our first book is brought to you by Sesame Street and our guests, Elmo and Grover. The first book is called The Monster at the End of This Book, starring lovable, furry old Grover. Hello, everybody. The Monster at the End of This Book, written by John Stone and illustrated by Mike Smolin, featuring Grover, me, and I am a Jim Henson Muppet. This is also a Sesame Street book. So this is a very dull page. What is on the next page? What did that say? On the first page, what did that say? Did that say there will be a monster at the end of this book? It did? Oh, I am so scared of monsters. Shh. Listen, I have an idea. If you do not turn any pages, you will never get to the end of this book. And that is good, because there is a monster at the end of this book. So please do not turn the page. Oh! You turned the page! Maybe you do not understand. You see, turning pages will bring us to the end of this book, and there is a monster at the end of this book. But this will stop you from turning pages. See, I am tying the pages together so you cannot turn the page. Oh, you turned another page. You do not know what you are doing to me. Now stop turning pages. There, I, Grover, am nailing this page to the next one so that you will not be able to turn it, and we will not get any closer to the monster at the end of this book. this will stop you from turning pages, a heavy, thick, solid, strong brick wall. I would like to see you try to turn this page. Oh, do you know that you are very strong? The next page is the end of this book, and there is a monster at the end of this book. Oh, I am so scared. Please, do not turn the page. Please, please, please. Oh, well, look at that. This is the end of the book, and the only one here is me. I, lovable, furry old Grover, am the monster at the end of this book. And you were so scared. I told you that there was nothing to be afraid of. Oh, I am so embarrassed. And now our second book is all about being successful, if you want to be. It's called Monster Trucks. Monster Trucks by Annika Denise, illustrated by Nate Ragg. On a spooky speedway, monster trucks moan, monster trucks grumble, monster trucks groan. Frankentruck is the first to arrive. With a jump of his cables, he's alive! Werewolf Truck croons a gravelly tune, first a screech, then a growl, and a howl at the moon. Next up, Zombie Truck, headlights grow green, dripping in diesel, he's cranky and mean. Then out of the shadows, Ghost Truck appears, rattling his axles and grinding his gears. Vampire Truck is toothsome and cruel. He waits for his victims and drinks down their fuel. Up goes the flag, each rig takes his place, ready to rumble in the monster truck race. On a smoking speedway, monster trucks tow, monster trucks rev, and monster trucks go. It's a monster mashup, clang, boom, bash, bang. Every truck for himself by piston and fang. When out of the pit, with a putt and a toot, comes a little blue bus, looking perky and cute. On a smash-em-up speedway, monster trucks sneer and monster trucks snicker. Monster trucks leer. The cackling monsters lick their chops for some lunch. She's a meal on wheels to this frightening bunch. I'm not scared, toots the little blue bus. Hope you monsters are hungry, 'cause you're going to eat my dust. Over rugged terrain, with a heave and a ho, and a spin of her tires, and a ready, set, go. The little blue bus chugs down the track. She buries those monsters, and she doesn't look back. On a squealing speedway, monster truck thrash, monster trucks thunder, and monster trucks crash. Then up from the rubble, one truck burns a trail. He's mad and he's thirsty and hot on her tail. It's the vampire truck. But the little blue bus has a trick up her hood. She slams on her brakes and locks 'em up good. Vampire truck takes a bounce off the wall, spun out and sputtering, he rolls to a stall. Can you guess who's in front when the checkered flags fall? The little blue bus. She's got gumption and pluck. But how did she do it? Well, we'll just call it luck.